Happy Monday, everyone. Time for another live commentary. This is from the round of 16 at the recent Shanghai Grand Prix. This bout was suggested by Luke Mitchell, and I'm very proud to finally be giving you a bout of Carlos Llavador. I've actually been watching quite a few of his bouts recently, but I haven't gotten around to doing one live, so let's do that right now. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, his opponent for us is going to be Toshiya Saito, quite a strong Japanese fencer. I'll talk a little bit about Llavador just to start things off. He's Spanish, as in actually from Spain, not from Latin America. And he's a lefty, and he's 26 years old, and I think world rank 24. He's got a little bit of a similar style to Guilherme Toldo, honestly. Although Toldo, of course, is Brazilian, does not even speak Spanish, he speaks Portuguese. Defending himself at the end of the strip very nicely. Very slow, easy march coming out. Earlier at this tournament, Llavador upset Alex Macialis 15-14. It was a very cool bout. Wow, finishes with a 4-flick. Saito doesn't even get a light with his counterattack. Kind of disappointing, but that would have been Llavador's all the way through. And just for the sake of syllable conservation, I think I'll call him Carlos. He could be on a first-name basis. It's nice and casual. Saito's march, a little bit hesitant, but finds a way to finish off target. Okay. Certainly not ideal. Carlos didn't really do anything much to disrupt it. That's 2 attacks off the line. Maybe lean right on the call, but again, 1 light for Carlos. So, wow, Saito's maybe a little discombobulated right now. Carlos was having a very good day, right up until he wasn't. I'm not going to spoil whether that's this bout or the next one. Parried post, attempt, again off target. Distance was a little bit long for that. Saito's not being as aggressive as he could be. Again, more very slow marching. Saito wants the blade. Actually, quite a lot. Llavador is not a great counterattacker. He can do it, but here Saito gets a stop hit running away. His momentum carries him all the way back to his end of the strip. Yeah, Carlos isn't the first person to think of when you imagine a brilliant counterattack, so I'm a little surprised that Saito's being so conservative. That speed attack left for Carlos. Yeah, rushing isn't as big a detriment against Carlos as it would be against maybe a Korean or maybe Erwan Lepeshu or someone who can just squirm, or definitely Peter Yopik. Another parry post there for Carlos. His parry posts have been quite good. But again, Saito's attacks have not had much deception to them. It's been mostly just straight and from pretty far distance. More so marching. Now he accelerates, but this time Carlos does get a counterattack, so I eat my words. Like I said, his counterattacks aren't the best, but they are quite good. He's competing at a high international level with them, so not to be underestimated. Although that time, Saito's cross-step was maybe a little bit too fast. It's gotta find the middle ground where you're marching fast enough to kind of throw Carlos off his game, but not so fast that he can just get it 1 light like that. But already with a 5-1 lead, just over a minute into the first period. It's very impressive. Let's see if Saito can adjust things. I haven't talked much about Saito either. He's kind of like a member of the new school of Japanese fencing. Old school being made up almost exclusively of Yuki Ota. Tends to be quite a bit more marchy and pretty conservative like this, usually. But then when he does accelerate, it's usually pretty fast and long. Again, Carlos offers the blade, and Saito's happy to take it, but again finishes off target. Carlos did that a lot against Alex, and I forget who his round of 32 opponent was earlier today. But yeah, he does like to offer the blade quite a lot. Ooh, can't find a way through, and Saito's crushing the distance counterattack finally works. Carlos's very even steps forward are kind of easy to counterattack into in theory. He can land that 4-flick very nicely that we saw at the very start of this bout. Now he's marching a little faster. Saito's kind of scrambling. Gets an off target as Saito runs away. Probably wouldn't have scored on that anyway. Saito is defending himself rather well. More marching from Saito. Again, Carlos offers the blade. Saito's going to have to do something about that. You don't just want to run into point and line. Although Carlos hasn't really been going for point and line first intention that much. It's mostly been a setup for something like that. As soon as the blade's taken, he can maybe try and step in with the counterattack, hoping that his opponent won't get their blade back around in time, but that time Saito found an off target. Bit of a faster march there for Carlos, slows it way down, and because of that, Saito's able to take it over. Carlos slowed down so much that his attack basically petered out. So Saito's finding a way back in without too much trouble. He certainly has to work for this, though. Ooh! Not sure how that blade action played out. I couldn't really tell, it was quite fast. Probably counterattack and close out from Saito, I'm guessing. I only heard 2 blade contacts, I'm not sure if one was incidental or not. Again, slow march from Saito. Carlos is probing now. Because I guess he knows this march is going to come so slow at first that he can actually make a few steps in safely. Saito isn't guaranteed to pull the trigger right away. And there we go, equalizing at 5-5. So now Carlos has got to change things up. That parry post is again very nice. Against Alex, he did like that prix remise quite a bit. I'm not sure if it's going to be the name of the game here. Saito could probably land a counterattack and close out before he can get his blade around in prix, if he misses the first one, that is. Oh. Although, if Saito goes for the prix post, Carlos can just remise himself in 8, or whatever that flank line was. So, kind of unlucky for Saito to not get a light with that one, honestly, but Carlos is able to capitalize. Ooh, that is nice. Carlos tries a trampoline sort of march, but isn't anywhere close to finishing. Saito lands an easy, comparatively easy stop hit running away. His earlier stop hit was a bit sketchier than that one. Carlos steps in with the blade and tries the behind the back move popularized by, among other people, Racing Bowden. You don't see many righties doing it, honestly. It's a lot more lefties that go for that touch. Oh, Saito's march interrupted a little bit. Carlos, this probing is it's proving quite annoying, honestly, for Saito to deal with, it looks like. Ooh, very fast, and Saito goes off the strip. That fast marching, or more like a running attack, honestly, from Carlos is interesting. I'm not sure if it's going to work reliably, because Saito's stop hit was very good. And, oh, by the way, we're in the 1 minute break. I normally announce that sort of thing. So we're tied up at 6-6. Yeah, Carlos took a kind of commanding 5-1 lead, but then Saito just pulled it right back, so... strengths of Carlos so far that we've seen his parry post be very good. He's gotten 1 counterattack. His attacks have been pretty fast, like we just saw. Saito's attacks have definitely been slower and more marchy. We do know from past experience that Saito probably still wants to finish long, but Carlos is being very annoying, just offering the blade constantly, playing off when Saito takes the blade, and offering occasional probing half advance or something, just to make Saito's life a little bit more interesting on his attack. And of course, the more interesting your life is when you're attacking, the more likely you are to get hit. So it's very bad for Saito. But when Carlos is rushed, Saito's been able to capitalize. When Carlos has made really any mistake, Saito's been there to capitalize. Even that little bit of infighting, some stepping in counterattacks, that sort of thing. So we'll see. This bout has felt more like Carlos trying something and Saito reacting, and if his reaction is correct, then he wins. If it is not, then Carlos wins. Carlos still feels like he's kind of in control, but we shall see. Finishes off target after a couple beats. Saito isn't really being that active on his defense. It's more just running away, searching. Ooh. Call his attack left. I'm not sure if that's after the pause or continuous through the pause. There was a kind of moment of hesitation there from both. Saito marches. Again, that little half step back that he does could be enough for Carlos to turn things around. That time it's not, though. Carlos just stands and tries to counter, and Saito gets a pretty easy finish. Carlos steps into the counter time, lands the riposte to the back. Possibly his threat of Preem was enough to pull Saito's arm into 4 to make that back riposte able to land better, but more importantly is the fact that he was able to step in with the blade safely. Nice flesh there from Saito. It's very rare that you actually see a proper flesh in foil, but that was about as close as we get in this weapon. If any epeists are watching, you're probably clucking your tongues and shaking your head in disbelief that such an action could be considered a flesh, but of course this is the foilless TV. Still attack left. There were a lot of beats there. Saito may have thought about counterattacking, but he did it a bit late. So Carlos was already finishing. Of course, a very bad time to counterattack if your opponent's already finishing. Still attack left. No way that's going to turn around. Yeah. He simply did not stop. Saito may have thought he did because there was a tiny bit of hesitation, but I cannot see that call changing. Okay, Carlos pulling another small lead. We'll see if he can manage to continue this. Saito again marching quite slowly. Carlos happy to offer the blade and step in whenever he wants to. Will Saito pull the trigger? He landed a flash once. Nope, finishes with a long lunge and Carlos escapes. I have to say, Carlos's distance control has been quite good. It's attack left off target, right? Yeah, okay. Carlos's distance control is interesting in that he's able to, like, make several, moving forward footwork actions safely, and yet he's still able to escape from Saito. That's quite skillful. Meanwhile, Saito defending. Carlos still always searching for the blade before he finishes, maybe looking for straight up counter time, or maybe just trying to attack with lots of beats as before. Either way, Saito's able to find another counterattack off target. So all this focus on the blade for Carlos is maybe a little detrimental. Barry finishes off target. I don't think it was just because he was searching so much that he missed, but still. With the distance that close, like, focusing on the blade a lot could leave you vulnerable. Again, Carlos is pretty unafraid. Oh! I was going to say that's why, because he can land that attack and prep sort of thing with almost a step lunge. But Saito's able to finish into it. So very nice on Saito, having the point control to land that target. Even from a very conservative attack with an opponent crushing the distance that rapidly. More marching from Carlos, steps in with 6 and finishes in prime. Yeah, he used that a lot against Alex as well. It is quite effective, but we saw before Saito was able to close out in 4, so he might have to switch to, yeah, that target exactly. Switch to hitting the flank. Saito has to choose, perhaps before he even sees the finish of Carlos's attack, whether or not Carlos is looking for a finish in prime or finish to the outside. And once he's committed, he can't really pull his arm away, or he opens up both targets, so I'm not sure if he has the hand speed to directly meet Carlos blow for blow at that distance. Actually, I couldn't tell. Was that the remise, or was that the first one that hit? Either way, it's another touch for Carlos. Saito's parry riposte has not been up to the task of defending himself right at the end there. And score is now 13-9. Alrighty. Saito's weapon successfully switched out. Let's see if that's going to improve his chances at all. I don't know the action there. Luckily it's 2 off targets, so I don't really need to. Suffice to say, that was really fast. Ooh. What's the call here going to be? I would call this simultaneous, but I am not a world-class ref, at least not yet. I believe the referee is having a look at the video of his own accord. And as always, we do not have access to that, so all we can do for right now is speculate. What is the call? So it was either off target or simul. Oh! Carlos hesitating right at the end there for some reason. Saito just gets a light. Easy peasy. Parry post right is off target is the call. There were 2 sounds. The first was Carlos's beat, the second was Saito's parry. Lots more beats on the blade there for Carlos. Now the closer he gets when he makes those beats, the more dangerous it is that Saito can clock him out with a counterattack before he can get his blade back to the target. If the distance were longer, it'd be alright, but at that distance, quite dangerous. Oof. It's probably remise. Saito missed the riposte. Saito thinks that they passed before the touch. That's, I can't really see that, but again, if Carlos is so high in score, why not go for the video right there? Saito manages to escape Carlos' attack and now starts himself, but again, it's a slow march. Carlos offers the blade. He has so many options right now. But again, if Saito can accelerate at the right time, he can catch him. Nope. Long lunge again, and Carlos again escapes. Maybe turns a... Did he hit the floor? Maybe he hit the strip? I hope the strip is... Yeah, normally the strips are grounded. Perhaps the clip just came off, so it was... Excuse me, it was not properly conducting. Tries an attack off the line. Not quite. Again, Saito marches. Can he accelerate at the right time? Yes, he can, but he goes off target. Bad luck. He has very little room for mistakes now, and the closer you get to Carlos' end of the strip, the more likely it is he's going to try and turn things around and attack himself. And as we saw, Saito's defense is not quite as good as Carlos's, I think. He has some counterattacking options, but Carlos is really good at hitting in close. Let's see. Carlos again marches pretty fast, finishes off target to the shoulder. Again, he's instinctually trying this remise in prix, so that's probably going to convince Saito to search in 4 afterwards. Simultaneous. Maybe attack right. Someone definitely stopped. I'm not sure if it was Carlos or both. But, yeah, maybe some premature celebration from our Spanish friend here. Referee is, of course, having a look at the slow motion. Carlos replacing his mask cord. It's very important. It'd be a shame if Saito hit the bib and did not get a touch for it. Alright. Again, Carlos only needs one mistake from Saito, really, to finish this bout. Again, constantly searching. And that time his searches are so big that even though the distance was wider there, Saito could still kind of step in with a counterattack safely. Again, a soft target, though. That could be attack left. Possibly simul, though. Nope, that yell from Carlos was enough to sway me, but luckily not this ref. He's completely impartial. Ooh, that could be beat attack right. There were again 2 sounds. First, to me, looked like Carlos. Second, looked like Saito. Saito went early there. It's not a yellow card immediately. Is there a pause from Saito? Or did Carlos find the blade on the last one? Actually, I don't know. What does the referee decide? Wait, so it was attack right? Why did the score not get updated then? Oh wait, it did. Huh. Another slow march from Saito. Again, Carlos offers the blade. Plenty of room to work with. Saito accelerates a tiny bit, but he's keeping it pretty slow. Very slow now, in fact. Finishes with long lunge, but again Carlos escapes. Oh, bad move from Saito. Bad decision. I don't know why he wants video there, it was pretty clear. Saito attempted to step in towards the start of Carlos' attack and surprise him with a crushing the distance counterattack, but Carlos was able to finish right into it. Too late, Carlos' touch, and that's going to be the bout for Carlos Llavador, I have to assume. We will wait, of course, for the final verdict from the referee, from Saito's video review request, but I can't see that call changing. It was pretty clear. I'm not sure what Saito wants from the video. I think the referee might be obligated to watch it anyway, but that was a pretty simple attack counterattack call from me. And there it is. Attack left, touch left. Bout to Carlos Llavador. The Spaniard pretty much certainly the best Spanish men's foilist right now, and I'm very glad to have finally gotten a chance to talk about him on live YouTube television. Anyway, finals are pretty much done, so expect Toldo versus Chung fairly soon. And yeah, until next time, stay sharp.